Hi, my name's William Schaeffer with the thought for the day. Be thankful for your troubles. Be grateful for your problems. No one ever rose to greatness or the fulfillment of their potential by sitting in their living room and living a comfortable life. If you look at history, all the great people in history had a very difficult life. And it was their difficulties that formed their character and gave them an opportunity to rise to their greatest potential. Your problems are your greatest strength, as difficult as that is to believe. If you had a lousy childhood, then you learned very early how to compensate and how to be successful. If you have physical difficulties, you learned presence of mind and you learned how to control your mind. And on and on and on. Look at the greatest people in history. Every single one of them had either a very difficult life or a profoundly difficult obstacle that they faced. And they had to use every single ounce of their strength to overcome that obstacle. Socrates, Julius Caesar, Abraham Lincoln, Vincent van Gogh, Ludwig van Beethoven, and the list goes on and on and on. Frederick Douglass, Isadora Duncan, all of these people overcame their difficulties and overcame their problems. And it was their problems that gave them the opportunity to show the best character that they could be. Your problems are your blessings. Your difficulties is your good fortune. So the next time you're feeling sorry for yourself because life is too hard and everyone else has it easier, just remind yourself, no one in history that accomplished anything worthwhile had it easy. They all had a difficult life. Julius Caesar was a marked man, and he had death squads hunting him as a young man. Socrates was profoundly ugly and has gone down in history as being profoundly ugly. Vincent van Gogh's family hated him and did everything they could to prevent him from being a painter. Ludwig van Beethoven went deaf and couldn't even hear and continued composing despite that. Abraham Lincoln was born poor. Washington could not get into military school, and that's why he eventually became general. And as general, he was constantly outmanned by the enemy, yet he still managed to win the revolution. Julius Caesar, every single battle he fought was outnumbered by 2-1 by the enemy that had better supplies, and yet he won almost every battle and was the greatest general in Roman history. And the list goes on and on. Isadora Duncan was born a poor street urchin, and begging as a child for money with her family, she learned how to dance her own dancing style that eventually inspired the world to develop modern dance. Picasso was a poor boy and his uncle paid for his schooling, and when he was in college, all he did was live in a stupid little room and paint paintings because he had no money for anything else. Look at the famous writers in history. It never came easy to them either. Emily Dickinson lived by herself isolated, yet she wrote some of the greatest poetry of the 1800s. Henry David Thoreau had no money and no career, and yet we still read Walden. Frederick Douglass was born a slave, and he taught himself how to read and write by inventing games to challenge other 11-year-old boys that they couldn't spell. Look at Stephen Hawking. He spent his entire life paralyzed in a motorized wheelchair, and yet he discovered the secrets of the universe, one of the preeminent physicists of all history. Teddy Roosevelt had a speech impediment, and he overcame his speech impediment to become one of the greatest orators of the age. There is no one that achieved something lofty and noble and great that did not have problems to overcome. So when you're feeling sorry for yourself and you think that life is too difficult and too hard and you can't make it and everyone else has it easy, remind yourself your problems are your blessing, and your problems and the way you meet your problems and the way you solve your problems will be your badge of excellence, and the accomplishments that you make in spite of your problems will be your legacy that you leave. So always remember, your problems are your greatest blessing. Think about it. Have a good day.